welcome to Quantum Creators Exchange. So, this week's question I would like Jeff to answer and is, how do you work towards a sustainable home?
Well, thank you, Beth. I was intrigued with this question. There's a lot of components that going in, excuse me, that go into a sustainable home, especially in today's day and age, with everything that's going on in the world and the way that we're constructed as humans and the spiritual part of us trying to emerge. You have to take all that into account. There's a few things I've noticed with in particular, around people and their homes and growing families. And I've got a few things listed on the board here. Just as a reminder, this over here is the way you're configured. You're connected to the creator of all that is through your central channel, comes into your body, mind, field complex, which is represented by the egg. And then you're anchored to the earth, again, through that central channel. So what I'm talking about is things that can go wrong in the body, mind, field complex as it relates to today, a stable home. So the first thing on the list is nuclear family possession and obsession. Nuclear family obsession and possession and obsession are family patterns that play out in your life. And you may not even be aware of it. But if you look at other people's families, you can see the family pattern. You know, like in one family, everybody goes to college. Another family, nobody in that family goes to college. Third family, all the women get pregnant at 15. I've seen that with some clients. That's a family pattern, an ancestral pattern. And so that's something you have to be aware of, that can control your family. And it just happens and you're not even aware of it because you're in the middle of it. You can't see the forest for the trees. So that's one thing that can disrupt a stable family home or even stop you from getting there. Now, everything I'm saying is everything on this board today is correctable, which I want you to understand. So when I talk about problems and issues that can go awry, it's all fixable. But what I'm trying to do is get to the root of the problem, rather than trying to analyze it, diagnose it, and give you a therapy session. I'm telling you what the energetic root cause of a given issue is. Okay, nuclear family possession and oppression. The other one is emotional voids in the physical body. Now this is individual. Each person can have an emotional void in the physical body that basically keeps them from getting at who they are. So I'm going to read you a little bit out of one of my manuals and just to describe an emotional void in the physical body. So the nuclear family was never able to address the emotional needs of sensitivity of the child, creating an emotional void in the body and emotional body, as though there are pieces of the emotional body and world that never fully developed. This can become a trap for emotional baggage and trapped emotions, similar to an emotional pit. It creates an area in the emotional body that cannot process emotions and emotional energy. This can be located in the body. This area then collects emotional issues and baggage that cannot be processed from the area. Emotional body substance is missing. The emotional body substance is the medium for the communication in the area of the physical body. Since it is missing, the emotional issues and baggage of the individual accumulates in the area, but the individual cannot communicate with it or resolve or address it and process through the emotions contained within the area. The void confirms to have an encasement around it that won't allow the emotional body substance to penetrate it from the surrounding emotional body. There may be multiple encasements around the void. We've seen 10 or more encasements around voids in layers. The emotional void then becomes, in essence, a form of an attractor field that can create a state of emotional despondency because the individual cannot access the emotional garbage in the area and simply has to live with the reality of it. This may also be a reservoir for localized possessing influences and other processes. This may also be a major contributor to depression, mental imbalance, and disease. This may also be a major reason for addictions. The individual is trying to fill up a void in their life and in their body with something else that is comforting. So this emotional void, if I had to look at it in the field, it could be anywhere in here. Let's just say it's right there. And So that creates a void from childhood that never gets filled. And then it becomes an attractor for other things trying to fill it. And it's a never ending problem. Okay. So in your family, if you're trying to create a stable family, if you have a family full of people that have this issue, that it's very hard to create a stable family in that environment, because everybody's looking to fill that emotional void. And that's through acting out, through not obeying, not listening, not paying attention. It shows up many, many different ways for children. It shows up a lot of different ways for adults, like through addictions and so forth. So you need to clear the emotional void in the field, in the body in particular, and make sure that area is accessible. And then those emotions that are trapped in there that are haunting that person then get cleared out as well. And then they can be free of that once and for all. So I find that's another big reason for not having a stable family, is emotional voids in the physical body. Another thing that I've seen in families is particular family members may have what we call Wernicke commands. And Wernicke is referring specifically to the Wernicke part of the brain. And the Wernicke part of the brain is very powerful. It's always on, 7/24. And the Wernicke part of the brain stores particular commands. And for example, look both ways before you cross a street. That's where that command is located, in the Wernicke part of the brain. So if you cross a street and it's closed down, or it's blocked off, or it's one way, I guarantee you cannot not look both ways. You will look both ways before you cross that street. That command is that powerful and running all the time. So if there are Wernicke commands in the brain, like maybe they were given to you as a child, like you'll never amount to anything, you're no good, whatever it is, whatever the basic message was of the parents that you had, then that can get stuck in the brain. Like, you don't deserve to be happy, you don't deserve to have a happy family, whatever that command is. Those commands are running all the time. Well, if those commands are running all the time, then that's what you're creating. That's what you're drawing to you. You're pulling that energy in. It's an attractor field. You're that powerful of a creator. You're creating all the time, whether you know it or not. And whatever is in the Wernicke part of the brain, you can create it. So that's another place I found very common that can cause people to not have a stable home, but also not even have a stable life. Emotionally, not even be capable of sustaining anything over the long haul. Somehow, some way, a command got lodged in the Wernicke part of the brain, and that's running their life. And they are no longer a choice, or they have very little free will, or very little access to free will. All right, and that could be cleared. Then the next thing are Bardo commands. Bardo command is an if-then statement. It's a little bit more sophisticated. A Bardo command is a booby trap that got placed in your field during the Bardo period of gestation. So this typically I only see in the field of an indigo or a crystal child. And if you're not familiar with those terms, I think we have a page on our website that details what the characteristics of an indigo or a crystal child are. I think if you're on this call, if you're on this Facebook Live, you're probably in that category. So that's why I want to include these here. A Bardo command is an if-then statement, and it goes like this. If you try to wake up, make you depressed. If you try to remember who you are, make you sick. If you try to blank, then blank. It is a booby trap that was given to you before your soul occupied your body. It's in the field, and it's there to take you out. It's there to take you out, flat out take you out. It's a booby trap, and it's because you're like I said, an indigo or a crystal. So what Bardo commands, when they get executed, I'll give you some examples. All right. So I've had a few clients that they were getting ready to make a big leap in their life, a big change in their life, a big shift in their life. And out of nowhere, they got sick. They were going to move from one city to another. They were going to go to their dream city, get their dream job, and out of nowhere, they just got very ill or sick, or they went out and spent all their money, or they went out and lost their money, or got in an automobile accident. And those were all Bardo commands that were going off. So this is an if-then statement. It's something that is designed to take you out when you're making progress on your mission and on the reason you're here. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And that's probably a whole nother, probably a webinar in and of itself. But just for now, let's leave it at the fact that these Bardo commands are real, they exist. And if I give you a chance to sit down and write, you could probably come up with a lot of specific instances in your life where you're about ready to make a shift or a change or remember who you are, and then shit just hit the fan, okay? And you don't know why. And it's like you're just left dazed and confused. And then it takes you a couple of years to get back up on your feet. And then it takes you a little bit of time to reorganize and then decide, well, now I'm going to do the next thing. And then you go to the next thing. You know, you're going to invest money. You're going to get a new job, go learn some skills, go back to college. Voila, something else happens. You get depressed. Those are Bardo commands getting executed. They're booby traps that go off when you get close to or start remembering who you are and why you came here and your mission and your purpose in life. And those are in the field of indigos and crystals. Okay. And that explains a lot to, I cannot tell you how many people tell me that explains my whole life right there, that one comment. But if you've got a family, and typically indigos or crystals tend to live in the same kind of family. If you got a family and these indigos or crystals all have Bardo commands, all going off at different times, it can relate to chaos and craziness. And you think, oh my God, what is so wrong with my family? Well, you just may have a family full of indigos and highly conscious beings that are stepping into their own power, and then they're being attacked. Okay, so I'll leave it there. The next thing that can go wrong, and I've seen this with families, is their spirit guides don't like one another. And this is always an interesting one. It always blows people away when I talk about it. We think our spirit guides are unique and special and know everything. And they're not. Okay, I want to put that right out there. They have a little bit of an ego too. They've agreed to come to this earth and help guide us and nudge us along in the right direction. Their heart's in the right place. One of the things you also got to be aware of, some spirit guides have never been human. So if you get information, you know, go do X, Y, and Z, and it seems so preposterous, it's like, how on earth can I do that? You kind of got to take it with a grain of salt, because you're human. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're in a human body. You know what that's like to be human. And if you're taking advice from a spirit guide that's never been in a human body, you know, and it's telling you to go do something and you're questioning it, you better stop and listen to yourself. Listen to that still small voice. That's a word of advice. But more important, I have seen families, and I worked on one this week. It was like this, with a father and the son just fight constantly. They're in business together. They obviously love each other. They care about each other, but they can't be in the same room with each other anymore. And what I discovered is that each one of them had a spirit guide that did not like the other spirit guide. So it was a battle that's happening in the etheric realm. It was not happening at the physical level. They thought it was them, and it was the spirit guides egging them on, giving them bad advice, that kind of stuff. So all I did was cleaned up the emotions, the trauma, the angst between the two spirit guides, and things calmed down between the father and the son. Okay, so it's sometimes it's that wild. It works that crazy. You don't think that would be it, but that makes a big difference in a lot of cases. So all of these things right here, having the issue of a nuclear family possession and oppression, in other words, coming through your ancestral line, some pattern that you're playing out. Once you're aware of the pattern, you can break it. Emotional voids in the physical body, individuals themselves having issues, not being able to process their emotions and let go of stuff, and then acting as a tractor field to bring other things in. Wernicke commands stuck in the brain, telling you to be a certain way, think a certain way, act a certain way, all that kind of stuff. Bardo commands, if-then statements that are booby traps, and then spirit guides. All these things together, if you get all these in one family, you're really in trouble. But they can all be corrected, okay? But this is the energetic root cause of not having a stable home. At least in my practice, this is what I've seen with many families. The other thing I have seen that I'm going to throw in here as a bonus is like when people come and work with me, one spouse will come and they'll get worked on, and they'll raise their level of consciousness and their awareness and their view of reality. The other spouse wants to have nothing to do with it. And that eventually will create a problem. And I warn people about that, because you got one spouse that's stuck with their view of the world right here. And as we work with you and get you up and going, and your view of the world is up here, that compatibility now is like this, right? And that can create a little bit of a problem. So if you're working on yourself, you need to nudge your spouse along to kind of join you in the process and maybe be a good example for them. And I've had a lot of spouses look at their wife or their husband and see the changes and go, what are you doing? I want some of that. And then they come along and they join up and then they work together. So just be aware of that. As one person is sitting there growing and one person is sitting there being stagnant, that also can cause an unstable home. All right. So I'm going to give you a tool. Now, this is not the fix. Okay. I'm going to give you a tool to use though. But the fix is to get these energetically cleared and repaired out of the field. That's the permanent fix. This is the root of the root of the root. So I'm going to give you a tool as a Band-Aid or a patch. Okay. But this will work, and it'll work temporarily, but you're going to have to keep doing it over and over. So what you do is you use this central channel that you have here, all right, coming from the creator. And you sit there with your feet flat on the floor, and you visualize that connection to the creator. And what you do is you visualize the gold light of the creator coming in. And you can shut your eyes and you can do all this. And you can sit there, it's like a meditative state. You're just at peace. And you visualize the gold light of the creator coming down that central channel. And you visualize it coming into your field. And it comes into this field. And then what you do is you visualize the gold light of the creator filling up your field. All right. And that'll give you a sense of peace. That'll give you a sense of ease about your life. And then once you feel that, then visualize you letting that light come out of your field and go into the room. Okay, and fill up the room that you're in. And you can feel that. You can feel the room expand. You can feel the edges of the room. You're that powerful. Remember, you're an infinite being having a human experience. And so once you fill that room, then I want you to fill the house. Fill the house with gold light from the creator. There's an infinite amount of it. You can send it out as far as you want. And send it out to your family members. Everybody you're in conflict with, everybody that's having a rough time, everybody that's having a bad day. And just see them bathed in this gold light, and just keep pouring this gold light into them, coming from the creator down through your channel into your field, out to them. And do that. Do it once a day. Do it once a day. Do it a couple times a day. Do it whenever anything goes crazy or things get out of hand, and you'll be amazed at the difference that will make. That will kind of, like I said, it's a Band-Aid. It's a temporary fix, but it works. Okay. And then, keep in mind, this is the root of the root of the root here. But just bathing somebody in gold light and basically sending them love will go a long way and calm things down until you can get this stuff worked on. Okay. I think that's all I've got. Any questions or anything from you, Beth? Or
Well, I just kind of wanted to reiterate the gold light. I mean, how powerful that actually is. I have done that before with a family relation that we were having problems with. It was actually my father, and it was before he passed or after he passed. And um, we did not leave on good terms. I did that meditation, and I'm telling you, I saw something release in him that was that was beautiful. And so that was our closure. So I got a chance to tell him how much I loved him. And I could literally see him appreciate that and send love back to me. So I want to make sure that, you understand how powerful that is. It's simple process, but it is very powerful. Um, if anybody has any questions about anything that he has discussed, please, I invite you to go to his website, www.jeffreywilsonheals.com. And there is a button. You can go to the menu at the top and hit contact, or you can go, there's a button on the home page. You can go down and hit connect. I think it's connect or contact. Um, and we invite you to join the email list, and you'll see that on the contact page. I would like to thank each and every one of you, those who are here with us now and those that will be watching virtually. Blessings. Have a wonderful day. Wonderful 4th of July. Bye. Do you want more additional resources? Join our free Facebook group, Quantum Creators Exchange. Enroll in the upcoming Ultimate Guide to Aligning Your Realities Masterclass, and join Jeffrey's exclusive Quantum Creators Hub. We look forward to seeing you amazing beings. Love and blessings.